And so the first thing I got to show you guys that's new and up and coming is a conscious piece. It's this thing right here on HBO, South to Black Power. And I got the trailer. Let me show you what's going on with the trailer, and then we'll talk about it to see if it's worth you guys' time. I'm glad we're done with this freaking gossip, boy. My heart was pounding. I can't deal with it.
I
Here
missed
we go.
it.
I'm trying to find a way we can lift the burden off the shoulders of Black people of white supremacy.
We got to get back and claim really what we built.
Miss K, I know you don't like to do politics, and some of that was political, but it's also some of it is factual and real about the plight of African Americans.
Yeah.
So the question to you is, and I've had to think about this too with my family. I live in the South, and I'm always thinking about going somewhere where the state is more democratic and liberal for African Americans, more inviting. But then I said to myself, if I do that, I'm going to make my state lose a whole household that's fighting for the rights that we need as African Americans, fighting for the resources we need as African Americans. So question to you is, what do you think about that documentary? Will you watch it? And do you think his message is something that should or shouldn't resonate with other African Americans going back to the South?
Wow. Going back to the South.
Back to the
It's
South.
so funny that you would say that, because sometimes I think about where I am now, and I left Brooklyn because of, I just felt like going further down south was better for, my children and stuff like that. And I'm only in South Jersey, but it still got the, that vibe. And I, now that it's getting so busy, I'm like, should I go down south for real? And the thing that stops me the most, look at you. That's probably would be the extent of it, North Carolina, right? And the thing that stops me the most is just the history, that comes with it. Like there's still this big stain. And so I'm just not really, like, the South doesn't sell for me, but I think that it's powerful that someone like him would say, hey, let's go back and let's migrate down. But for me, that's not something like, I don't know. But I will say that I'm not sure if I would watch the documentary, but it looks like something very interesting. I think I would have to hear someone tell me about it before I would probably watch, but it does give me this vibe of, the 1619 project that was on Hulu, which was very, very insightful. And the one thing with that lady, real quick, when she was saying something about we have to kind of, what did she say? Something about take back or something like that, whatever she was saying. And it just was funny because the lady who did the 1619 project, she was talking about how she didn't really appreciate the fact that her father had an American flag in front of their home. And his explanation was just so profound. It was like, we pretty much built this country. Like, I should be able to be proud of my role in building this country. And a lot of times we look at the American flag, and particularly me, I look at it with disdain. Like, this country ain't done nothing for me as far, and I can't say it because I didn't live the way they did, but you still feel the effects of what happened. I think that most Black people, you could feel you relate to it, or you could feel it from whatever, because it's just that generational thing, right? But when you really think about it, we should be proud of the American flag because we built the country. So when you hear somebody say, let's get back to, that's interesting to me. I don't know, but that's all I got to say about that.
I'll pass it to you, Mooch. But before she goes, the 1619 project was done by Nicole Hannah-Jones.
Mm-hmm.
That's who did that. And I'm in a weird position where I live in a state where the very courthouse in my county has a fucking Confederate flag monument that's up, and they got a fence around that bitch because people have tried to take that shit down. So our county feels that Confederate monument is so important that they spent the money and the resources instead of moving it somewhere to put a fence up around the motherfucker. That's how important they feel about that. And when Miss K talks about her feelings about the American flag, I look at that as a glad tiding, because where I live at, I'm always in the face of the Confederate flag. So either way, really, when you look at it, where I live, anytime you see someone running around waving a damn flag, you look at them kind of side-eye. Like, do you really love the country that much? Or is that you trying to exude something that you know you don't really give a damn about? Mm-hmm. Having said that, floor is yours, Moochie.
I feel like, I don't, with this moving south, it depends on how far down. Atlanta is too crowded to me. That turns into a little New York. But I do like visiting there, so I'm not gonna front.
Me too.
I do have fun when I visit there. So, so as far as that, I think it's a good idea, but they're locked in with the politics now, and like, what are they saying? Are they trying to move to other states, and are we gonna break away from this party and all of that? You understand? I feel like they both lying to us at this point, and we need to form our own. But I know that's going to be impossible.
Damn near impossible. Damn near impossible. And the reason why I say that is because behind closed doors, they won't tell you this, but they love having issues that keep us fighting against each other. They won't tell you that. And some of you might say, Lamont, well, don't be a hypocrite. We know you vote for Democrats. And if you feel that way, why do you vote either way? Why are you voting at all? And I'm going to tell you why. Because there's just too much evidence to the contrary of what the right is doing that is a little worse to me than what the left is doing. And one prime example of what I'm explaining to you guys, of how they're both wrong, but at least one party is upfront about their intent. People who tend to vote Republican, they tend to tell you that their biggest reason, they won't tell you the real reason, but their good political reason is because it's for small government, less taxes. Can we all agree on that? Bullshit.
That's what
if the Republican Party was really trying to reduce taxes and make the government smaller, they would also be starving their own pockets. And they're not going to do that. There is a real deficit we have, and it makes no sense we're in $1 trillion deficit. They can't stop taxing people. At least the Democrats understand this. If we're going to tax the people, damn it, we need to spend it on something that they can use. So that's pretty much one of the biggest anchors that keeps me voting for them. They understand we're never going to stop taxing people, but if we're going to tax people, can we put as many things in place that can benefit people as possible? Republicans is still somehow got people under this mind meld where we're going to shrink the government. We're going to get to the point where we're not taxing anybody. And at the end of the day, if they was to really and truly do that, they're going to lose their job. And then they taking power from the government that they claim that they want to shrink, and they not trying to give up that power. And we see this with what's going on in Gaza. Sure. Prime example. But anyway, Lex, what do you think about what this documentary he's doing, where it's going? Will you watch it?
Probably won't watch it, honestly. This is kind of one of those things I would like to get secondhand information. I don't know. It wasn't appealing enough. I get it, but I kind of feel like it's like coercy to like move back to the South, almost like black people to black people propaganda. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, the South is where it's at, but then if that's the case, that's kind of backwards, because what about all the black people that are established in the North? You want me to go to the South just because there's more black people down there? Make it make sense. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I get the idea and, respect everybody's opinion, but no, I'm definitely probably not going to watch this. But I get it, do you? But I'm a Northern girl. I'm going to visit the South.
You gonna eat the South food?
No, I do like the outskirts of Atlanta though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I love where my cousin is, but it trips me. Like, I was thinking about moving down there, especially like opportunity wise and stuff like that. But it always trips me out. There's always a plantation drive.
Oh my God.
Like, nobody thought to update the streets all these years later. And then when you think about it, like you kind of see how big the land is, and you could just imagine like how now houses are built within. But it's like, oh my God, I'm probably like on my whole ancestors' lands down here right now, neighbored with people. Like it's, I don't know, it's a mental trip sometimes, like when I'm down there. Other times it's like, I love it. The weather, the people, black people, like it's nice, you know.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to the next story. I'll conclude by saying I'm going to watch it because, you know, your boy Mont is just the biggest nerd you've ever seen. I'm into science. I'm into history. I'm into all that stuff. And one thing that I am trying to do so that you won't get the kind of opposition we just got from Lex saying that she's not going to watch it. And she didn't come out and say it, but it didn't look entertaining for her. So one thing that your boy is trying to do in his scripts is merge historical relevancy with good entertainment in fiction. So that when Lex sees my trailer, oh, I'm watching that bitch. What? We got somebody that kicks the white man in the teeth, okay, and takes the power back. Oh, I'm watching his shit. So that's why I'm gonna watch it to help make my narratives a little better.